Thank you, Kristen. Just firstly, thanks to yourselves for pulling this together, and thanks to Bonang, Peter Louis, and Mxolisi Dukwana for their time, for their insights, and particularly Mxolisi to be leading or to be part of building opposition or resistance to corruption, state capture, and starting to build movements that will champion integrity and ethics in a province where this is perhaps the most difficult. I think he and the people who are working with him and others need all of our support, need all of our solidarity, and a big up to all of them. When we talk of capture in the Free State, to simplify this, we must always remember that a huge chunk of the money that came from the Vrede project really ended up funding a lavish wedding at Sun City by a Indian family called the Guptas. And that's the kind of arrogance that we've been dealing with ever since that plane landed in 2013 at Waterkloof Airport. What we are now beginning to see are all the myriad of areas that this family and others have been involved in terms of weakening the state, hollowing it out, but enriching friends and family, particularly those linked to their key sponsor or alleged key sponsor who has now refused to appear before the Zondo Commission. We must also bear in mind that Mr. Edwin Sodi, when his home was raided, what was found there were dozens and dozens of very, very expensive motor vehicles. So the kind of looting that took place was then spent on basically building up the kind of lavish lifestyles that these people thought they now deserved. And that is what should anger us extremely, because it is the poor people in the Free State who now need to sit with these asbestos roofs for I'm not sure how long it is actually going to take, coupled with ongoing acts of corruption almost on a daily basis across municipalities in this country. And you can just imagine how much worse things will be today. There have been a number of books, and there's the movie How to Steal a Country, that really gives us into the insights of capture. And what we should learn from this, as well as the array of other literature and investigative work about state capture, is that there are gaps in terms of oversight and accountability work in this country. The modus operandi for corruption at the national level was clearly adopted and improvised for provincial looting in the Free State. Or maybe it was the other way around, was conceptualized in the Free State and rolled out nationally. We need to understand the full scope of corruption at this level. In municipalities, we now see a similar trend. We should be particularly wary now. Now, as the taps begin to turn dry at SOEs at national level and in some provinces, local government will become the focal point for the vultures who are circling around and who would want to now weaken already crippled institutions even further for their own self-enrichment. The local government elections that are coming up this year offers an opportunity for us to rethink accountability mechanisms, to strengthen them, to strengthen anti-corruption measures at the municipal level. But until such time that we have clear accountability systems, the only resort that citizens have is that which the people of Makanda and other municipalities have had, which is to take the entities to court, to get them almost dissolved, and to find ways in which citizens then end up running these municipalities. Whether or not that is a sustainable model is something that we will have to see. But certainly, if we don't get this new thinking around accountability now at the local level, I think the disaster will just be, in fact, amplified over the next weeks and years to come. On Friday, we will see the asbestos case go to court. Several years ago, we would have not have thought it possible for one of the most powerful former premiers in the country to be in the dock. Our law enforcement agencies must be commended for the work, at least that they've done on this case. Other important cases are also coming up in the next few months. Bongani Bongo, the Home Affairs Portfolio Committee chair in Parliament, is currently in court for bribery allegations. Former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede is back in court later this month. Just a few days ago, Dudu Myeni was dealt another legal blow in a bid to halt a delinquency order. And former President Zuma will be back in court on February 23rd. These cases are encouraging that there is headway, but we must also put pressure on law enforcement to ensure that those demanding passports be brought back here to account for the litany of allegations they face. Former President Zuma's defiance of a constitutional court ruling in relation to his appearance before the Zondo Commission and the paramilitary-like structures guarding his house against possible action by legally mandated law enforcement agencies, and the continued racial and other attacks on anyone who speaks out against corruption and capture on social media are part of a growing trend of behavior that is undemocratic and that needs to be challenged. The experience of state capture over the last decade has taught us that we all failed our country because we were either unaware of what was happening or we knew what was happening but were too afraid or unbothered to speak out. Some in leadership positions were forced to choose between so-called party interest versus the interest of the public. And unfortunately, most chose the former. This year, we will have a new political party funding act in place. However, its success depends on how party funding is monitored and how accountability is implemented. This again requires an active and watchful citizenship. It is extremely encouraging that activists in various provinces, and in particular the Free State, are beginning to mobilize. They have broken the culture of fear that seemed to persist in the province that ruthlessly targeted anyone that spoke out. We hope that the kind of work that has been done in the Free State will be done across other provinces. And we are aware that some of this kind of work has started in Limpopo, has started in the Eastern Cape, and KZN and so forth. Perhaps we also now need to talk about connecting all of the anti-corruption work that is taking place across the country and see where the possibilities are for better national coordination and cohesion. Because unless we do that, I don't think we will be effective at a national level where this is required. So in conclusion, last year, Archbishop Thabo Makgoba called for 2021 to be an extension of the year of the orange overalls, but also the year that we all stand up to corruption. In the interest of our democracy, it is essential that we do precisely that. So on that note, we want to wish the comrades in the Free State well as they perhaps go to court or monitor the proceedings thereof. We also want to wish the law enforcement agents, the prosecuting authorities, all the courage and strength to see this case through to its particular end, which we hope will result in the necessary convictions. Thank you very much, Kristen.